I am going to ask that everybody mute themselves, and I am going to hit record. Okay, hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here tonight and joining in for tonight's webinar. I'm grateful that you're taking this time to spend learning and listening about what I have to present to you today. I am super excited because this is something that I truly believe is going to change the whole outlook or view on healthcare. That's how big I feel this is. And it's a really big investment for me, but I believe wholeheartedly in this type of healing that I wanted to offer this in my clinic, in my space, to all the people that I see and that all of our clients in our practitioners see in our office that can benefit from this in many ways. So I'm excited to tell you all about this. And what the unit is called the Matrix Aura. I have been calling it the Aura Matrix, but it's the Matrix Aura. I didn't want to say it wrong for tonight's webinar. So let me tell you just a little bit of my experience about it and how it came to be into my office. I met with a woman who is part of a business mentoring group, and she had talked in one of our classes about this healing bed or a med bed, she so called it. And I was immediately intrigued, and I said, what is this? Like, I'm all into finding out new healing methods and technologies and things like that. So she took some time to explain to me what her table does, and it was a crystal frequency healing table. So she had mentioned to me, now this woman is in Tampa, Florida. And so when we had our talk, she says, well, I can do distance sessions with you. And I said, okay, interesting. I believe in all that. I'm actually open to all of it. So she asked me for a piece of my hair. So I sent a sample of my hair in the mail, sent it down to her. She received it. We did a 6-week journey of twice a week. And the reason I wanted to do this was, like everyone, I'm human. I had a chronic right hip SI joint, um, nagging ache, stiffness, tightness, let's call it. Nothing that prevented me from living life and doing whatever I need to do, but just something always there. And so I said, you know what, if this can help with that, I'm in, I'm sold. And so she started to work on me from a distance, told me when my sessions were. I lay down on my bed. I just relaxed during the whole time. But on that first session, what I noticed was that just laying there, and she's at a distance, and she told me the time she was going to start, gave me a sound frequency to play in my headphones. And within the first few minutes, I literally felt things happening in my body. Whatever it was, things moving, cells doing their thing, almost like a little trickly effect or things moving within my body. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I've done Reiki, I've trained in Reiki, I understand the whole energy thing. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. So into the 6 weeks now, I'm starting to notice that I don't have the normal aches and pains that I used to. My mobility is a little bit better. Things are definitely different in my body. I feel like I can do more than I used to physically. And so at that point, I said, okay, I need to find out more about this table. Maybe I'll take a visit and, down in Tampa, go visit her and check out our table and see if this is something I want to invest in. So when I asked her, she was welcome to the idea, but she instead said, you know what, I'll put you in touch with the owners of the company that made this table, and they can talk to you a little bit more in detail about it. So, excuse me, went on to talk to them, and they invited me down to their home in Northern California to come and visit with them and check out their table, which was actually a different table than the crystal healing bed that this woman used on me. And this is called the Matrix Aura. So this is now like, the top level. And it's got way more involved in it than the one that I was even put on through my hair. And so anyways, I had the opportunity to go on the table twice. And the first time was an hour. And in that hour, I didn't feel like anything specific happened, but completely relaxed. I was just like, okay, I'm floating. I'm feeling great. This is wonderful. I got off the table. I still felt like I was floating for at least a good half an hour to an hour. I was kind of in this elevated state of just peace and calm and no pains or aches or anything in my body. So it was a wonderful feeling. And and then I did start to see the healing effects of that over the next few days. So 3 days after, I was getting some sort of symptoms, which I know my body goes through as a detox. And I knew those were all part of the healing that was going on in my body. And I did get on the table a second time, which was for a half an hour. And it was, again, great effects. I mean, I can't even say enough about it. It's one of these things that until you're actually on the table, you won't understand the actual feeling that it gives you. So to get to where I was going to meet this wonderful couple, like I said, they were in Northern California. So I flew into San Francisco and I had to drive 4.5 hours north to get to them, which I happily did. But on the way there, I didn't make any stops and I kept going. Well, that right hip was starting to nag me. It was kind of like getting a little antsy in my seat and wanting to move around. And but I was pushing forward and I just wanted to get there. The same 4.5 hour drive back, I didn't flinch. I didn't move. I didn't feel anything in my hip. I didn't even actually think about it until actually getting to after I got to the airport. So I knew even in that one time on that table that table really had profound effects for me. So I'll get more into the, sort of testimonials and other things that people have experienced through this. But this is really what I'm here to talk to you about today, is this matrix aura healing table and really what it's all about and how it works. And it's all about frequency healing. So with frequency healing, we have, so many different types of frequencies around us. And I think we're finally in an age and a state where we understand what frequencies are because we are bombarded with them. So we have cell phone frequencies, we have Wi-Fi frequencies, we have microwave frequencies, radio frequencies. So all of those frequencies around us, we know are damaging to our health. Why? Because they don't resonate with the frequency that our cells would resonate at a healthy level. So they're actually bombarding the cells with this frequency that is having a negative effect on our tissues and our bodies, on our well-being, on our mental state, on every level. And so if we know that there's these frequencies that can be damaging, then we also know there's got to be frequencies that are healing. So now we can get into frequencies. And for example, if anybody's ever been to a sound bath healing or listened to a sound bowl, and when you take in that sound frequency, how does that make your body feel? It's just, it resonates through your body as a healing effect. It's calming. Your nervous system likes it. It calms down and it actually starts to do what it needs to do in order to heal. Because what I believe as and the roots of osteopathy is that the body is self-healing and self-repairing. So our body basically knows how to heal itself. We have that innate intelligence within us. We have the blueprint we were born with. And that blueprint tells our body at all times how to function. But when we're set against all of these negative frequencies from our environment, and not only from our environment, from within as well, because our thoughts are also frequencies, our mental state is also frequency. So if we're feeding our mind negative thoughts or always thinking in negative thoughts or in stress, that's a negative frequency. What does it do to the body? It shrinks the cells. It doesn't want, doesn't allow proliferation of all of our normal functions in our body. So we want to be able to combat all of that, negative frequency that's affecting our body, and we want to put all this good frequency into it. So we can understand a little bit more about where frequency is. And I'm going to pull up my slides here just a little bit. That's going to keep me on track. So let me just share that with you guys. And I know you guys are probably going to have questions as we're going along. If you can save them to the end, that would be great, or just write it down so you remember, and I'd be happy to answer all your questions when we get to the end. Okay, so so in an overview of what we're going to cover today, I've already kind of touched on the first topic, which is, what frequencies are, how they affect our body. And then I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about the matrix aura and biodynamic osteopathy. And then I'm going to explain the combination of the two and how they would work together. And then we're going to do just a little quick exercise as well. So as we know, the frequencies around us or within us is really the language of life. Everything in our body is a frequency. Everything is energy in motion. Our cells are moving, our nervous system is moving, lymphatics moving, circulation's moving. So we're always in motion. And all that matter that is within us vibrates at certain frequencies. So every cell in our body, every organ in our body actually has a specific frequency that it vibrates at, which is, it's at its normal healthy frequency, let's say. So a body itself is a living communication system. Every cell is communicating with each other at every single time. Our nervous system, with our heart, with our lungs, with all of our organs. So frequencies are within us, as we know, even with the heart rhythm. The heart rhythm has a frequency. So I looked to some of Nikola Tesla's work recently, and I really wasn't impressed with how much this man knew at this time in his life. So back in the 1800s and early 1900s, he was already into all this frequency stuff, and he predicted a lot of stuff that is happening now that he almost had the blueprints or the inventions to that we're seeing today. So this man was really revolutionary in his thinking, and one of his quotes is, "To live is to resonate with the frequency of the cosmos." So what does that really mean? So when we think about nature, or let's take, for example, when we think of how we feel when we're in a busy society. So let's think like downtown Toronto, busy traffic, lots of people around, hustling, bustling, like the energy is just moving, right? How do you feel when you're in that state? Like, do you feel calm? Or do you feel just as rushed and high strung and wound up as everyone else? So you can see how our nervous system reacts to our environment. Now, when you go out in nature and you go take that walk in the woods, and you're just out with animals, nature, the sun, and the elements, how does your body feel? It feels at ease. It feels relaxed. Why? Because we are nature. We resonate with nature. Nature has a healing frequency. So nature's healing frequency is what our bodies also resonate at, which is why we live in harmony with the earth. We can feel the shifts in our environment. We can feel the shifts when the moon changes, when we're at full moon. We feel all of these effects of nature around us, but we're blocked off by a lot of those signals because of the busyness around us. So how do we get our bodies to this state of relaxation? Well, we know, obviously, go take a walk in the woods or meditate or deep breathe. And, we've got all these tools, which is great. But what if we can do even better than that? And we can address cellular level regeneration of that healthy state, of that nature frequency state. That's what basically I'm talking about here. So we have frequencies. Again, this is now just going into examples of frequencies in the human body. I forgot to mention brain waves is one of them as well. So anywhere from delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma, those are all the different waves in our brain. If you're not aware of brain waves, this is very important, because when we function at that busy stress state, we are functioning in the beta waves here, and that's not a healthy state to be at 24/7. So every state that we have in our body is there for a reason. And that reason is to tell our bodies or our minds even to tell ourselves what is happening at a particular moment in time. So when we go into stress response, it's because we're getting ready to go into fight or flight, right? Something is going to happen. We got to get ready. And that's okay. That's normal. But is it normal to stay in that heightened state 24/7? Absolutely not. So if we're functioning at only beta waves all the time in our brains are not shutting off. You're never getting into true rest, true sleep, or true regeneration of any of yourselves. What does that cause? It causes aging. It causes dysfunction. It causes disease. So our bodies are fighting against all of this to try and heal. And how is it going to have that chance to heal when we have all of this stuff happening on the outside coming in? So we want to be able to bring our brain frequencies down to a level where we are more relaxed. So more of the theta waves. So, this is during stage 1 and 2, light sleep. So theta waves is, where we're really, that's more of a meditative state. In a normal functioning state, we want to be at about the alpha wave, which is where our brain is relaxed, but we're still able to think and concentrate clearly. Um, so really, we want to bring all of these busy waves down to more a relaxed wave. Okay. Now, going into heart rhythms, I mentioned that as well. Our heart has a rhythm. Rhythm also changes with the state of our being. So again, when we get into that fight or flight state, when we're always on the, go, now our heart rhythm is going to be at a higher rate. What does that tell our body? It tells our body like, okay, we're running, we're fighting for our lives. Let's keep going, let's keep going. What's going to happen if you're doing that 24/7, right? It's strain on the heart. It's strain on the nervous system. It's strain on the cardiovascular system everywhere. So this is where heart attacks happen, right? Because now our heart is pumping at this really like high anxiety state, constantly going, 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 going. It doesn't know how to shut off. So this is how disease and dysfunction happens in the body. Nervous system signaling. So we know immediately our nervous systems respond to anything. So, if you touch something hot, immediately your hand comes away. That's your how fast the signaling is of your nervous system. So nervous system can respond instantly to any little thing around us, and it's so highly sensitive, it's an instant response. But when it's a shock to the system or when it's a trauma to the system, that gets embedded into the cells and into the nerves of the cells of those nerves. So now your wiring, let's say, I always call it brain is hard drive, and then you've got all the wires that go out. Well, now all those wires that have been like, signaling up to the brain, danger, 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 now we're functioning at this heightened state at all times. What does that cause? Autoimmune dysfunction. So our bodies start to shut off the normal signaling to our body and how it should function. That's what autoimmune is. Autoimmune just means the nervous system got jumbled in all of its signals going in different directions, and now it doesn't know how to function properly anymore. And it just happens to happen wherever that person may have a slighter area of weakness in their body. So it could be Hashimoto's, it could be MS, it could be lupus, it could be whatever. For every person, it's something different. It's going to manifest differently, but it all comes from the same source. So frequencies also come with emotions. As we know, when we feel happy, we have resonate a really happy frequency around everywhere. When we're around miserable people, we feel that energy. It's not pleasant, it's not nice. So our emotions have frequency as well. So we can look at this chart here and say, look down at here at fear. So when we're resonating at fear, you're down at 100 here. And this is a contracted state with the body. So that means that if you're in fear, you're in this state all the time. And none of those signals are going to be, sending out to the right places at the right time. Now, when you come up to here, love, joy, peace, you're now up 500 and above. This is where we want to resonate at. Okay. We want to feel that peace, love, and joy all the time. Wouldn't that be wonderful to be able to feel that way all the time? So there are ways of doing that. And I'm going to explain to you just with this example here. This is just an example of emotion and what it can do to water. So if you know Masaru Emoto, Dr. Emoto, he's done a lot of experiments with water and the effects on water with emotion. So I'm just going to play this video clip really quick. It's just a short, quick one.
Dr. Emoto's researcher used a glass of Tokyo tap water, which seems to be unable to form crystals, and performed a test. Participants placed the glass in the center of their circle and sent gratitude to the water. Studying the water under the microscope, they started to see a crystal formation. Increased magnification showed the symmetry of the crystal, revealing how the tap water was transformed by the gratitude sent by the group. The crystal continued to grow, expressing the energies received. The tap water from Tokyo finally produced a beautiful crystal.
It was interesting to see children so completely astonished after they witnessed the difference in Tokyo tap water before and after they said the prayer. Their mothers were kind of skeptical before this experiment. But afterwards, they said, we really have to believe it.
Okay, so that is, just an example of how our frequency of our emotions can affect water. And now, if we think about water in a sense of our bodies, what are we made up of? We're made up of at least 70% water. So we are water primarily. And so we take in different frequencies from around us in different ways. And that could be through emotion, it could be through words, it could be through sound, it could be through all types of frequencies, the sounds or the radio waves or whatever. We're able to take that all in because we're like little antennas. Our bodies are water, so we're absorbing all of these frequencies around us at all times. There's one more video here that I wanted to show you, and I'll just show you a brief clip of it. But I think some of you might have seen this before, but this is again Dr. Emoto's experiment with water and what the effects were on water when they said different words to it. So I'll start this one. All right, so we can see the effects on water. And again, as I mentioned, our cells are all made of water. Our body's made of water. So that's how the effect can kind of take effect in our bodies. So going back to Nikola Tesla, just one more quote that I wanted to share with about his with that he said was, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So he was already, aware of this back then, that basically anything that is around us is all made of energy, frequency, and vibration. So if we want to see how our world functions, how we function, we need to think more in those terms. So one more quick video that I wanted to show you. And again, just as is going back to water, and I'm not going to show you the whole video here, but I'll show you just the first little half of it. But this is taking different forms of matter and applying sound to it to show you how it affects the matter when that particular sound or frequency is played.
Observability goes way beyond dashboards alone. It's
Oh,
help real world
sorry,
impact.
video has, oh, there you go. Okay.
The film you're about to see has no characters. If you spare a little of your imagination, the film will describe to you the effect of cymatic frequencies on matter.
Okay. So you get the idea with that one. So just an example again of different forms of matter, not even water alone, but just grains of sand and those type of things that will change with, let's say, a sound frequency. So what does that mean for the human body? That means that the body really listens to everything that is around it. We are absorbing information all the time in various forms, and the cells will respond to the type of information or frequencies that they're receiving. And the nervous system really is what is taking all that information in and then interpreting it. So it's, receiving the information, and then the nervous system interprets, or your brain interprets that information and, gives you that output of what it is that you're feeling. So we are very aware at all times of our surroundings, of our words that we use, of the environment that we're in. We just need to pay attention to that a little bit more, because we all have that ability. In a sense, we are animals. So if you think about animals in nature and how they sense things in their environment and how they listen to things and how they sense even the frequencies and vibrations around them, how do animals talk to each other, right? We have the same ability, but we've just lost it over time because, again, we're in this surrounding of alternative frequencies that are not really that helpful for us. So I want to talk a little bit more now about the matrix aura. So basically, this is what it looks like. It is a table, and it's got, lights, lamps that are on this beam that go above you. The beam does raise and lower, so it's on a motorized unit. And the table basically has, well, let me tell you what it has. So it basically has 7 different types of frequencies in it, and it does work at all different energy levels or cellular levels, even like, on the nervous system, on different organ systems. And like I said, it's reading into your nervous system and in terms of what your frequencies that you need. So the types of frequencies that are used in this particular table is quantum or scalar frequencies, and this is done through a Rife machine. It's through vibration, through PEMF, which is pulsed EMFs, and that's kind of like almost like grounding mats. Then there's the crystal light frequency. So those are the lights that you'll see above on the table. So each of these canisters holds the crystal frequencies. So it has an actual 100 and I believe it's 188 sided crystal in each one. And that has a light that shines down through it. So basically you're getting the light from the crystal. And then you can actually put filters on each of the canisters as well. So you can put different color combinations in there. You can put the chakra colors. You can, base it on what someone needs. The colors all have a specific frequency for specific needs. So it can be really tailored to each person. Then there's the vibration frequency, and that happens at 3 different levels. So there is a rubber mat that's placed under the table. The ground level, there is a vibration that happens at that level. So it's going to be felt through the legs of the table. And then the table itself has a vibration plate. And then you'll also get vibration, a little bit of vibration through the headphones as well. And then you've got the sound-based frequency. So within the headphones, you're going to be listening to specific music or sounds that has frequencies applied to it. So there's about, I can't remember what he said. There's a library of like, I think a few hundred different songs, all at different frequencies. So you can choose what you want, or I can choose something for you. Obviously in the beginning you won't know, so I'll probably just select a few more popular tracks. And then you've got the red light, and the red light is under the in the PEMF mat. There's red light in there, as well as heat within that. So you're getting different levels of these vibrations coming in, frequencies coming in. And as you can see on the table here, there's these electrodes as well that you can hold on to with your hands. So that also brings in the vibration through those. You have full ability to adjust the level of the sounds and the frequency as well. So when the table is set up, you'll see that there's actually on this side, you can't see as clearly, but there's this little kind of side table, which has a control unit, and it has like 3 different knobs, and you can alter it yourself while you're on the table. So you really can take in whatever you feel you need. And the table itself, like I said, it works in, it's very, you can be very specific with what you want to address. So it's not just a general, here, pop on it, this is the same for everybody. It can be highly programmable, and it can be customized as well. And what I mean by customized is that you can actually take a saliva sample on one of the little glass plates and put that into the system, and it will read your saliva. So it's actually going to read your energy or your frequencies that you have currently running in your body. And then it's going to customize a program that will give you the right frequencies to offset that. So it can be completely customizable. The other feature is, and you can do that even with a hair sample. So you can take a piece of hair put it in, and it can also read that. I think with the hair, it does take a little bit longer. So I think it's almost like a 24-hour process for the whole system to read that and be able to customize the program from there. Now, what's really cool is, as I said, you can do the distance like I started. So if let's say you can't get in, or you've got a relative far away that wants to do something like this, send a hair sample. And we could just put the hair sample in, run your program on it. It will work for you at that particular time. So whenever that timing is, that's set up, you just relax, lay in your bed, do your thing, and it can work from a distance. Now, I didn't have the opportunity to do a session with this specific matrix or a table. I only did the distance sessions with the crystal frequency table. So I can't really compare the difference between an in-person and a distant session with this specific table, because I've had the two different ones that were used. But like I said, that the crystal table did a great job at a distance for the time that I used it. So this will be probably amplified if you did a distance with this one as well. Okay, so what the frequency table supports. So it supports your nervous system, number one, like I said, cellular regeneration, immune and lymphatic systems. It boosts hormonal balance, affects your digestive health in a positive way, and with your whole body, the whole fascial structure. So remember, even fascia is made up mostly of water, so it can change your structure through the fascial chain by giving your body certain frequencies. So it really affects you on every single level of your body. So some of the benefits that you would receive when using this type of treatment is stress reduction, definitely improved sleep, more energy, less pain and inflammation, nervous system regulation overall. So you'll feel mentally better, happier, more clearer, be able to sleep better, and even enhance recovery. So if you're one that like trains a lot or you play sports, it's gonna enhance how fast you can recover when you're using this type of system. So who does this work for, or who does it support the best, is definitely people who are in chronic stress and burnout, which I see pretty much everybody today is in that state. I would say majority of the people I see, like 90% of society, I would say, is definitely in chronic stress and burnout. And what does that lead to? Anxieties. It leads to nervous system dysregulation. So people, like, I have never seen such a high incidence of anxiety like in this last couple of years, or last maybe 3, 4 years, probably since COVID. But the anxiety levels have just elevated so high for everyone. But why do we think that is? So one, it's the system, obviously, feeding us negative news every day. I don't watch the news and I haven't done it in 25 years, but we're being fed negative information all the time. What does that do to our nervous system? It puts us in a state of like, oh my gosh, something's going to happen. So get rid of negativity around you. Stop listening to it. So we want to get rid of all these negative things at the same time as we're doing the work. So there's lots of different things that we're going to address going forward of how we can implement a lot of these practices into your healing journey. But number one is nervous system dysregulation. So remember, the nervous system controls everything. If we can regulate that, we can come back to normal function. Chronic pain and inflammation definitely is going to help with digestive hormonal imbalances. We see a lot of that nowadays as well. Women have always been going through all the hormonal changes. We are only now talking about it in today's day and age. So, now that we know about it, we can do something about it. And then, of course, trauma held in the body. And people always think, oh, I haven't been through trauma. Well, trauma is anything that has happened to you that puts you in a state of emotional distress for longer than 72 hours. I think a lot of people have been in some kind of trauma. Okay. There's been some kind of a worry, a stress, um, whatever it would be, like, loss of a job, loss of a family member, um, work overload, being a mom, like that's all trauma. It's, stuff that we're putting in ourselves in these high states, of function for too long a period of time. So we all have different traumas that have been held in our body, and we need to find a way to release that. So now I want to get into a little bit of biodynamic osteopathy. Now, some of you who have seen or do see me have experienced this, and you know what it is. For those of you who have not, it is a branch of osteopathy that is not widely studied, because it's so intricate. And I'm still learning it. I've been learning it for the last almost 6 years. There's 9 levels. I just finished level 7, but I'm still trying to get it and understand it because it's so intricate. So really, it's a very non-invasive approach. And what it's doing is it's allowing me to listen to your body. So I'm not really doing anything to your body. I'm just placing my hands at different areas of your body, and I'm listening. And I'm listening for what your body is telling me. I'm listening for where the health is. I'm also looking for where the health is not. And then I'm just basically gently kind of listening to the system and seeing what it needs and maybe guiding it to more health in a very, very gentle, soft, non-invasive way. So it's very, very light touch. Um, it's working with your body's intelligence. So I'm not really doing anything. It's like I'm just tapping in to wake up your body and say, hey, do you remember how to work? See this health here in your body? Take this health and put it over here. That's where you need it more. That's kind of what, in a sense, in a nutshell, of what I'm doing. So it supports your body's own regulation and own self-healing. So, this is kind of why I'm actually getting away from manual therapy now, because I'm finding that it's not holding as well as it used to, because we have all these nervous system dysfunctions and dysregulations that are pulling us back into that same old pattern over and over again. So now when you're on this matrix aura table, I can actually work with you biodynamically. So that means I'm going to be doing work on you while you're on the frequency table. And the beauty of that is that you are amplifying the effects of the frequencies that you're already getting into your body. So the frequencies are coming into your body, they're doing its thing, your cells are waking up, they're starting to remember how they need to function. And now I'm tapping into your body's innate wisdom to go, hey, let's make this work better here. And so now your body is just going to take in all that information, have an amplified healing effect. So it's kind of like I'm integrating the frequencies coming into your body. So the frequencies prepare the system, as I mentioned. The hands-on work integrates the change, and that way your body gets a deeper coherence and stillness. Coherence is what we're looking for. Coherence meaning communication, cellular health. Everything's working in harmony together. Everything's communicating. That's coherence. And when our body is coherent, we are healthy. So as we go through this process, I'm going to talk a little bit more about now what happens as you start into using the matrix aura. So there is a standard protocol. And like I said, what I went through was 6 weeks, twice a week. That means a total of 12 sessions. And they're usually anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. They can be shorter sessions as well. But that's what I'm going to do when, we decide on what package you need. It would be in a discussion with your specific case in terms of what I feel you would need in order to see a good change in your health. So when you're starting to this journey, as I mentioned, you're in a society where you're bombarded by these negative things. And I want to be able to support you so that when you leave the office and you're not on the table, what happens in between that time? We need you to still be elevated at those higher frequencies and then functioning at those higher frequencies. So you need support going through that. And that's what the resonance circle is. So when you come into a 6-week journey, you automatically come into our resonance circle. And what it is, it's a support group for everyone that is coming in to use this type of healing modality, because you may have questions as you're going through. Everyone goes through a different process in their healing journey. So talking about that or sharing about it can help the next person going through it. So it's a community-based little, container that we're going to have. And this will be offered, as I mentioned, with the 6-week healing journey. So in that, we would meet once a week and we would have discussions. We'd have time for question and answer. And I would help you go through some way of self-regulating your nervous system. So it could be a practice of something. It could be a breath work practice. It could be a meditation. It could be anything. I've got lots of tools that I can share with you. So that's what I want to be able to do, is support you in that way so that you're not going away feeling that, oh, like I just went on this table and like, things are just going to happen. You also have to put in the work because, like I said, the frequencies can change just in a snap. Our nervous system changes within a fraction of a second. So we want to be able to keep that high resonance. We want to be able to keep that frequency and that health going through our bodies as much as possible. So what I'm offering is, for the limited time, so for the month of February, once I introduce, and I believe the start date will be February 11th. So February 11th to the 28th, I will be offering complimentary 15-minute intro sessions. That means you book in a time, you come in for 15 minutes, you get on the table, you try it out, you get to feel what it's going to feel like for you. And then at that time, we can talk about your packages and what might be something that you're interested in. And I'm going to have variations of packages that you can choose from, because really I want to make it something that is affordable for you, but also that is going to work for you. And we can work out, different plans for each person. So we will discuss that on a one-on-one, just because I can customize the packages a little bit. So the introductory rates that I will offer will be for that limited time. So only for that first, month, or just 3 weeks, let's say, I will be offering introductory rates of those packages, which will be lower than what I will be charging at a later time. And I might even extend those introductory rates a little bit longer. So what you're going to receive is one free session on top of the packages that you purchase. So whatever you purchase, let's say it's 6, you'll get a seventh one. If you purchase 12, you get a 13th. So that will be included in the initial offers. And moving forward, including in all the packages, you will receive a couple of gifts when you purchase the 6-week journey that are going to help support you as you go on. And then also inclusion into the resonance circle, which you'll always have access to come in and join it at any time. So I will be opening up those slots, and you'll be getting an email tomorrow with the link on where to go and book for those time slots. So once that's open, get on their book. I have maybe 2 or 3 shifts a week that I am doing this for the month of February. So there are spots available, but they are probably going to fill up quickly. So I will see what demand is, and I might try to open up more slots as it goes. But for now, it's going to be open as of tomorrow. You can get into those sessions. If you do have any questions beyond today, and some of you I know are watching the recording, so if you have questions and you need to get in touch with me to ask anything in particular, here's my information. You can take a screenshot and save that. And do follow us on Instagram or on Facebook as well, to keep up with all of our latest, trends and what we're bringing in. So what I want to do now is I want to open up the room for any questions, because I'm sure a lot of questions have come up in that presentation, and yeah, I'm here to answer them. So if you want, just raise your hand and I will just call you out and you can unmute. Joanna, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
You are going to have afternoon, evening sessions like after 4:30?
I do have, yes, I have after 4:30, and I do have, I think, a weekend session as well in there.
Perfect. Now, the red light,
Mhm.
can you is it also for like my psoriasis and stuff, or is it more f frequency, or will it also help with that?
Um, Both. It will help with everything. It's not, but the specific frequencies can be um altered or changed with the Rife machine. So the Rife machine is the scalar frequencies. That's the one that can be customizable. So they actually have a list of conditions. So, and like psoriasis would be one of them. So I would click on psoriasis, and then I can program in a second frequency that can go in with that. So you're getting like two different healing frequencies from the Rife machine, but then you're getting all the other frequencies from the crystal lay and the vibration and all that other stuff as well.
Okay, so let's say psoriasis and inflammation. We can
Yes.
program both of those and then we can get, oh,
You,
wonderful.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you're
I
welcome.
look forward to this.
Yeah. I believe Ange was next.
Hi, Minnie.
Hi,
How are
how are
you?
you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. I had a question regarding with the mat, do you have, and there's light therapy involved.
Mhm.
Clothing wise, is there like certain clothing that's recommended to wear to absorb the light better? Like linen is better to wear, or are we wearing shorts and a tank top
No,
on the
there's
bed?
actually, yeah, you don't actually have to dress in any particular way. The light can penetrate through, but I mean, it would be best if you had only one layer thick, like, if you're
Mhm.
just wearing like a t-shirt, let's say, and but normal clothing, but just not layered up.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's good to know. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Lloyd and Diane.
Yes, I just wasn't clear on when you said about your first trip to, or your, not when your hair
Yeah,
went, and you had those sessions. You
right.
you said how you felt the difference in your hip area and so on. But
Yes.
then when you did the trip to California, you mentioned that it was bothering you on the drive north,
Hmm.
and then on your drive back. So is it that it doesn't hold, the result doesn't hold, or what was how?
So not that the result doesn't hold, but when you're, let's say, so I could have done more sessions. So like when I said I felt better, I got to 90%. So I could have done more sessions to get to, ultimate not feeling anything at all. So I knew I still had work to go. I just didn't continue doing the sessions at that time. But so now I was put in a position where, like, I'm flying, 5 hours, and then I'm driving another 4.5. That's a lot of sitting. And for anyone sitting for that long period of time, it's going to get uncomfortable. So, the little bit of discomfort I had going up wasn't enough to stop me from driving, but it was there. And so that was that last 10% that I know I still need to work on. So I'm really looking forward to getting this machine set up because I still need to heal the rest of that hip.
Okay, because
Yeah.
that's Lori is, I'm Lori's mother. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, and they got their hand up, but also for depression and anxiety, was
Yes.
that something, it seemed to be like my husband has that issue. Uh,
Hmm.
Age is, he's 88, I'm only 85. So
Okay.
but we'd like to see some of his anxiety and the depression, and
Hmm.
feel that addresses that too.
Definitely. As I mentioned, it's affecting all of your cells. So going directly to the nervous system is where all of that, depression, anxiety is all held. So if those frequencies are coming and affecting the brain waves right away, you're going to come out of it. Like I said, when I came out of that, I was like, wow, I'm floating on cloud nine. I feel amazing. I was in a really high positive energy state where I was, happy. I just felt you come out of it feeling relaxed and happy. So it's definitely going to change your mood, and it's definitely going to, take, work on the anxiety. Not, it's going to take time. Someone who's had anxiety for a long time, it's not going to happen overnight, but each time you come in, that frequency is going to start to resonate more and more in your body, that it starts to remember this is how we need to work. So over time is where the effects start to hold a little bit longer.
Is that where you mean that you shouldn't be watching the news? Or are these kind of frequencies a big issue?
They
Because,
are. They are. More than you know, they are. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all right, I'll shut up. Thank you.
Any other questions I can answer for you? Okay, thank you. Okay, I think I'm just looking at my screen. So PK, you can unmute.
Hi, Mindy, it's
Hi.
Prasha. Hi. I'm just wondering, like, obviously, like it's kind of challenging to figure out, or to really notice after like a complimentary session. But because I've never done anything like this, I am kind of nervous going into it. So that's why I think I just want to start with a 15-minute session.
Mhm.
But my question is like, what can I expect? Like
Um,
for and like
yeah.
to
Yeah.
happen within that 15
So
minutes, and
15
then.
minutes, yeah, so good question. 15 minutes is short, but in 15 minutes, you're still gonna feel your body go from like up here to like, ooh, like you're just gonna drop into like relaxed mode. And that's the immediate effect that you're gonna feel. In 15 minutes, you will be able to feel that. And that's pretty much it in the 15 minutes.
Okay, and I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, like, for some,
Mhm. Sorry,
that's
go ahead.
amazing. And I was just gonna, no, that's okay. I was just gonna ask, for someone who like struggles with binge eating or like something of that sort, would it be helpful for that?
I don't know enough on that topic, but the way I think
Okay.
of it is that it's a mental state. And so if the brainwaves
Yeah.
are functioning at a certain state, you're changing the frequency of
Mhm.
that. If you're functioning at a happier state, you're probably not going to want to binge eat anymore. So like I feel like it definitely will
Fair
have
enough.
impact. I just don't know,
Mhm.
I haven't really looked at data on that or had any testimonials on that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. I'm gonna go with Rick and Lori next.
Hi, Mindy.
Hi.
Hi. So a question, I have a couple of questions. I'm
Mhm.
wondering how it might compare or differ from sessions I'd had a couple of years ago with something called Solex system, and it was like it was called the AO scan,
Okay.
and it was a lot of frequency, sending frequencies to the body.
I don't
Any
know anything about that. I've never heard of that one, so I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I would have to look into it, but if you can you text me that and then I'll look into it because I'm interested to learn what it is.
Okay,
Mhm.
sure. And a general question, what would be, this is coming from the opposite kind of direction, what would be its limitations to be realistic? Where do its limitations fall?
Mm, so to my understanding, um, the limitations would fall a with the number of sessions. Let's say if you committed to 12 sessions, but then you came in for two and then you dropped off for another two and then you came back and you started again. That's the limitation. Like you're breaking up the cycle of what the healing kind of frequencies are that are coming in. So it's not, there's no limitation in the unit itself, it's more on the user. So if you're not coming in consistently, if you're not doing the home practices to keep your frequencies at a higher level, if you're doing the wrong things in terms of self-care, like that's where the limitations are. But in terms of the unit itself, it really doesn't have any limitations that I know of.
Okay, I think what she's after, Mindy, is
Mhm.
like we know we're not being jaded cynics here. We're just being pragmatic.
Yeah.
Like with age or certain chronic things, there are certain things that you get to a point where it's not fixable. So I guess what my wife was asking is and again, maybe because the table and whole approach is so new,
Hmm.
I think she's more after what are some types of things that it can't treat.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be
Okay,
able to,
okay, I
okay, you
understand.
can't,
Yeah.
it's not gonna grow a limb or something.
No. So I can only go by the testimonials that the owners have shared with me because obviously I haven't had anyone on my table yet. And also with the woman that I was, had my sessions with. So those are the only two people that I've had them share their testimonials with me. And the one thing that I could say is they didn't once say, and I mean, they talked about extreme cases, one being terminal for cancer. So when they tell me like they had someone with stage 4 terminal cancer that went back to their doctor months later and nothing was there, I'm like, oh, this thing can heal everything.
Ah, okay, interesting.
And so that's, I mean, like if it can heal at that far end of stage, there's no limits.
So basically, depending on the type of problem you're dealing with, and like I say, any problem,
Mhm.
it will answer itself whether it can handle certain things or not, and that's where the sessions have to play themselves out.
So this is where I'm going to bring it back to the person because the body, as I mentioned, is self-healing and self-repairing. The machine is not doing anything. The table is not really doing anything other than feeding you the right frequencies that your body needs to work at in order to heal. So it's your body's ability. Your body would be the limitation. So how much your body can heal and repair and take in that healing frequency to repair, that's the limitation. So the mindset, the home practices, this is why I keep going back to that. That is all going to really support you really getting better.
Okay, and still, we don't want to cut other people's hands off here, but
Mhm.
does this also, like, we know a lot of it is the realigning of vibrations, energies, things like that. Have you heard if this thing actually helps cell regeneration?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Hmm. Yep.
thank you, Danny.
Okay, I think those were our main questions. Thanks,
Okay.
Mindy.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. Debbie.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Okay, I'm just wondering when you're talking frequencies in that, what
Yeah.
about like arthritis where the bones are already worn down? How can that help like make them better, if they've
Yeah, so I mean, it's not going to reverse something like severe arthritis,
right.
but it is going to help you function better, meaning that it will reduce the amount of pain that you have in your body. It will improve your function a little bit more and reduce pain, but it's not going to change the actual structure.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
And
yes, there are limitations such as that. But anything at like sort of any cellular level. I mean, so I'm going to go out on a limb and just say what the um, the creator of this unit said to me, and he said that there are now studies that something like this can actually regenerate bone.
mhm.
So I don't know enough at this point to say what it can do with arthritis, but if there's studies out there already showing that this can happen, there's a good possibility it can help. It can definitely help to heal that.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the other thing was like you're saying, okay, you get the frequencies in order when you do these 12 sessions or whatever, but
Hmm.
then you go into the same environment. Like you can control your environment. I see what you're saying about homework and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So that you got to do everything you can to keep under the same thing. But
Hmm.
there's life situations constantly
Hmm.
that are on the outside that are out of your control. You can't really control. I guess you can control your reaction. That's the big thing. But sometimes I don't know. I just find with stressful events and that it just I can't stop it from like getting
Mhm.
inside me or something. I'm very sensitive to certain things, and
Right.
I'm finding that I realize it really affects my health and
Mhm.
well-being going
Mhm.
through stressful times for a long period of time.
Right. So this
Yeah.
is where the frequencies are going to change that. So what it basically is going to do is, remember how I said we have a certain frequency or a program running through your system that is,
Right.
always going on a
Yes.
feedback loop. This
Mm-hmm.
is going to shut that feedback loop off. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to finally turn it off so that your body doesn't react that way.
Mm-hmm.
You're now going back to healthy state again so that your body says, oh, yeah, okay, this is fine. Well, let it go, whatever.
Oh, so you're saying like even though you face the same things, your reaction might be different
Right,
to certain
exactly.
situations?
Exactly, because you're changing on a cellular level. You're changing the program, you're changing how you are, you're changing your being really by doing this.
And so a 12 session thing doesn't, you can't stop it after that time, right? It's like
Well,
it.
so it depends on, again, like every person's going to be different.
Mhm.
Maybe some people need more than 12 sessions.
Uh-huh.
Every person's going to be different, but you can always do maintenance sessions after that, so come in once a month and, get on there for one session. That
Hmm.
could be your maintenance.
Hmm.
So it doesn't mean that you have to be going like consistently all the time, but it's just something that you would do for self-care, like you would go for a massage once a month,
Hmm.
up on the table once a month kind of thing. So you can maintain it that way. But in terms of really getting to where your optimal health is, that's going to be very, very individual for each
Right.
person. Yeah.
Right. I understand that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because we're all made up differently.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, that's great. And you said something before about osteo, it would come through your insurance as well. It
So
can,
if I'm doing the biodynamic work with you on the table, then
uh-huh.
yes, I can put it as an osteopathy treatment. But
Right.
if you're going on the table as a standalone, then that would not be covered.
Right. Right. So there's different ways you can do it. Sometimes you
Right.
could
And so
work
that's
with
why I said there's gonna be different packages and different options.
for, oh, okay. All right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rena.
Hi, Mindy. Hi, everyone. So I've been exposed to mold and I have long COVID, so I have severe nervous system dysregulation.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my concern is that along with trying to remove mold from the body, I'm trying to figure out everything. Supposedly, mold is supposed to be removed very gently from the body. So I guess my question revolves more around um, de- like detox symptoms, or like is this going to be that's something that's very, very gentle? Will it cause a Herx reaction? Like I'm trying to.
Good question.
And the other question I would have is how much time is it per session that you typically recommend?
So for someone like you who's pretty sensitive, I would probably start with shorter sessions, and see how you do after one before scheduling like one that's really close. So we would schedule like two in a week, but we'll see how you respond after that first one. Give it a few days and maybe schedule the second one like later in the week before before doing the second section, check in, see where you are, because yes, you can have a healing crisis and you can have those detox systems even after that one time. Like I said, that first time I went on the actual physical table for the hour, not to go into too much detail, but for 3 days, the next 3 days, every morning I had loose bowel movements. So that was my sign of detoxification, but that was it. Like, it was totally nothing that I couldn't handle. It's just whatever. I know my body's eliminating. So for someone who has more going on, shorter sessions, and then, give your body that time. Like you said, we want to approach it gently so you're not getting too much of those detox symptoms all at once.
Okay, so like let's just say it's not me and it's somebody who's coming in for, just frequency reset type of thing. So how would a session typically be? About 30 minutes?
Again, it would depend. Like
Oh,
every person is going to be different. Like I would really have to do an intake with each person to
okay.
understand, what are your concerns? what are your needs, what's your goal, and then provide a plan according to that.
Okay. And are there any studies that are being done on this particular table at the time during this?
Right now, no, and I have a feeling I'll probably be the one doing it. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, who do I know that can do all this? Like, kind of being like a lab researcher for me, because I'm gonna have to document a lot of this stuff. And the other thing is, I'm gonna give a bonus too to everyone that does sign up for that, 6-week journey. I will give you more freebies, if I get those testimonials coming in, because that's really what's going to help me to understand more about the unit and your experience, and to be able to also tell people more about, specific conditions, or, things that have gone on. So this is like really new, cutting edge. Like, it's so new that really there isn't a lot of research that's been done particularly on this table. But yes, like I'm already thinking ahead on that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jackie.
Hi, thanks for doing this. So I
Yeah.
have a few questions if there's time. The one thing has to do with the distance healing. So if somebody wants to do distance healing,
Mhm.
do they send you a hair sample or a saliva sample?
Hair sample, yes.
Okay, so by distance it's hair, but
Yeah,
if you're in person, you can do the saliva, which
that's
I'm
right.
assuming is much more detailed information about your body.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And even if somebody you advise, at least start with, 6 weeks twice a week, but if somebody wants to do less, that's optional for
For
them.
sure, for sure. I mean, the only difference is you can take those 12 sessions and spread it out over 12 weeks. I'm just going to say, hey, you're not going to see the results as fast as you would in 6 weeks. So if you're
Yeah.
okay with a slow, steady, long process, that's totally fine.
Okay. And the last question, when you're on the table, will you be doing um the variety of various treatments that you usually do, like osteo and biodynamics, or just
Just
biodynamics?
just biodynamics. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
with the table. There's too much equipment around it that I
Oh,
can't. Yeah, and it's not a
okay.
table like a treatment table that I could move
Yeah.
you on safely.
Okay.
It's just so it's actually a solid oak base with, like,
Yeah.
a cushion on top of it.
Okay. Great.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Lori.
Hi, Mindy.
Hi.
My question is about vertigo and or tinnitus, and I should say, um, I know that is more of a cellular thing. Is that correct? And would that help?
Yes, definitely. So with tinnitus, if it is it's an irritation of the nerve. So if we can calm down that irritation, then that should stop the ringing.
Okay, because I have a lot of issues in my neck.
Mm-hmm.
I've had whiplash, and I've actually I had a bad fall. Well, not a bad fall, just a fall
Mm-hmm.
on the ice and went down on my back. So it
Right.
has bothered my neck a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So that would help.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay. I think that's all our questions. Thank you guys for staying on. We did go past the hour, but they were all amazing, great questions. So I thank you guys for joining, and the email will come out tomorrow that you'll receive, which is, for the replay, as well as to sign up for those 15-minute sessions. And if you do have any other questions after this, feel free to contact me. You've got my contact info, and I look forward to see you guys on the table. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Mindy.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.